So I decided to do some recording. These are actually prim boxes. It's hard to tell from a distance. It's really nice. I wanted to show people that you can still build with prims using materials. These are materials, well, these are textures and materials that I used in I modeled out the actual geometry for this in ZBrush and baked it over a 1024 texture map. I do sell these textures, not to push my own projects at people, but I did put the actual crates that I modeled for these out as well, but I'm not going to point out which ones are which just yet. I'm going to run past some soon. I guess you can actually tell because I put a different texture on the top of them. But from a distance, it was very, very hard to tell the difference between those. Like if I look at that over there, which is one of them, and I look at those down there. I'll do another look. So, I'm going to run around and record for a little bit. This is inspired by DE Dust from Counter-Strike Global Offensive. So DE Dust 2, actually. It was not an exact 2-scale replica, but we decided if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we decided to keep moving with that. This is going to be the sim build-in special one, but it's going to be modified to be kind of an imposing city so that it feels quite a bit larger than... Hang on a sec. Let me go ahead and... I didn't know that was there. It's going to feel quite a bit larger than Italy Land 2 currently feels, which is good because Italy Land 2 currently does feel very small. That sim was mostly designed for vehicle combat in mind. I'll cam over there really quick. There is a lot of stuff rezzed out in Italy Land 2 right now that may or may not be added, where you see the green and orange boxes. So bear in mind with that. We're still working on which of these buildings will be interval or not, and we are creating modular skyscraper building assets for adding floors that have proper physics and things like that. So bear with us on that. You'll see that these aren't placed 100% correctly, and if you ask me why there's a air vent on it, it's because I modeled the texture and I like how it looks and I put it on something for now. Modeled and baked the texture. These are the mesh crates. They technically have the same impact and physics shape as a prim box. They have a little bit more depth to them than a prim box, as you can see. Their LOD should scale pretty well because the other levels of LOD are just 12 triangle boxes. So that's good. I will be adding more very lightweight assets or prims with high quality baked textures on them to this build very soon. As you can see, this build feels more interesting than the Italy Land 2 build. I will be revisiting Italy Land 2 after I get a better layout and plan for this sim to make sure that Italy Land 2 has a consistent level of interestingness as well for some reason. Thank you, Linden Labs, for breaking pre-jump. So just keep with me. This is part of an ongoing dev diary. Wow. That's really... I haven't had that happen in weeks. Minus and I are going to be trying to probably get this build as finished as possible as soon as possible, since the layout was already pretty much set up in our skybox. If Service shoots me, I will stab him. We did work on some administrative ends of things today as well. We got a bot out that measures people's render weight and reminds them to try to tone it down if your render weight's too high. If your render weight is greater than 280,000, it will send you a message every 2 minutes until your render weight drops. Eventually it will start ejecting people who have too high of render weight. It will send them messages first. It does not do that now. So bear in mind. The build in the Outlands, the sim, is underway. This is a constantly evolving build setup for all sims. So bear in mind that they laid this out and then the builders are moving in to build things. It looks like they already have floors out in the prison. Let's see if we can get a sim crossing to go smooth today. I really highly doubt that. And luckily, you can. That's nice. That's really, really nice. So, you'll recognize some of these assets if you're a member of this community. These are assets from our build that we had in Desert Isle, including our trenches, that currently are not being used in our base. I'm going to be making some modifications to our base with Minus soon. This is walled off because this is an outpost that is rentable, that you can either use the building that's here or request it be returned to build your own thing here. I personally would leave the trenches if I were renting that outpost. They are good trenches. They have wonderful physics shapes. So, and then I assume they're planning a road that goes over here. I'm not sure what the purpose of this road is, but that's okay. I don't need to know everything. It's part of the fun. I do believe that Sarah Song Resident is working on the roads. She should probably be done with those relatively soon. And then they had brought up the concept of some weapons caches that are going to move around the sims at random that you'll be able to get free weapons from to make a more dynamic thing to fight over. There'll be fun weapons, possibly weapons from other militaries' armories and things like that. We did have Sarah desaturate the textures on these walls today to make them, well, you'll see that they're very red over here, and then if I look over in Italy Land 2, I'll go ahead and cam over there real quick. They've been highly desaturated to match as the texture takes forever to load. Bear with me. There we go. It's loading now. To, make them not so red to match kind of the rest of the builds. We are going for a wastelandy theme. We're going to try to not have a lot of texture pop in, so a lot of things are going to be re-UV mapped and atlased onto each other, and most of the new assets that we are building are going to be planar mapped and use the same sort of makeshift texture atlasing that we've been talking to a lot of people about in Dev Diaries. This pre-jump bug is really interesting. The region crossings aren't perfect right now, and this has a lot to do with we just moved a lot of these regions. At least that's what I've been told. I don't know a lot about the server end of that. I know it doesn't have to do with necessarily what I'm wearing. I did just cross that sim border just fine, so that being said, I am crossing through sim borders tonight fairly well. Usually I have like a 30% fail rate on sim crossings if I'm not seated on a vehicle. For some reason, sitting on a vehicle makes it a lot smoother. Like, I have a way better success rate in sim crossings when on a tank or a aircraft at the moment. Here's Dusty running around. I have my interface disabled right now. So. Whoa.
My head is burning.
Okay. So there's that too, so you won't be able to see a lot of what's going on over there. Oh, well, that was nice of him. Sit and wait and see if he dies. Combat is taking place here, clearly. Not as much as I had hoped since we got this placeholder build down, but hopefully more people will be around tomorrow. I think people are still kind of in their, you know, pre-summer development phase, so. But, the more people hang out here, I think we'll start to notice the more development starts happening in the groups that are hanging out here. At least I hope so, because that's part of the goal of this project, is to push the quality of content that's being made within this community to a new standard. It's been happening. It happened 3 years ago in the last one. We saw a lot of content creators working together, a lot of new content and systems being developed, which was really good. Most systems that we develop here will be open systems, just so everybody has the same fun toys to play with. I think that that's a very important thing. And this placeholder prim stuff will be here until we have assets to replace each thing. This walling off of this is going to get doctored to make it feel not like it's surrounded by a wall. And the hub is still the temporary setup that is this. I'll go ahead and explain the hub. 50% of the time, the hub will teleport you to a location that someone has selected. The other 50, like, there is a list of spawn points. The other 50% of the time, it sends an LL cast ray down to the ground and just spawns you there. It will try to spawn you at least 10 meters away from any other avatar on the field. The old spawn system was checking for line of sight on avatars, but it was breaking somehow. We're trying to combine 3 different spawn systems together to make the best spawn system possible for our community. And what this will enable us to do is make sure that people don't usually get spawn camped when they exit spawns. I think that that's very important. It's cool to... Whoa! That was crazy. Oh yeah, I need to model some barrels tonight. But it's cool to see people fighting here already. This build will have staggered elevations to make jetpacking fun here as well. Ground fighting, I did a lot of ground fighting earlier in the day, and I wish I had been recording. But it's kind of hard to do combat with your advanced lighting on sometimes when there are 20 avatars in regions, so I unfortunately couldn't record at the same time. Tyro also got a lot of footage that may or may not be out before I post this video. So, thank you everyone. If you have any concerns or questions about things that I've done and made here, please send me a note card or an email. You can contact me via email in my pics, and in the next video, my personal videos, I will go over the way that the administration LAN server works, and will work in the future. Thank you again.